Super Rugby, round number 5, folks. Pretty good round for the home teams, with 5 from 5 getting wins and not a losing bonus point in sight. We'll go through the 5 games from the weekend, how are the standings looking, and the upcoming fixtures for round number 6. You guys can let us know your thoughts on what you thought was the game of the round. I'll admit I didn't catch as much of the Saturday action as I would have liked. My mate Tony from Distracted Sports, who I do the podcast with every Monday, was having his bachelor party. It went through to about 2 a.m. and started in the late afternoon. So basically the 3 Saturday games I watched while drinking in bars with the sound off. So I kind of tried to catch up on a bit, but it's not as much rugby as I normally would have watched. First game though on the Friday, Hurricanes Force. I did watch that one. The Force got close to a losing bonus point, but not quite. The Hurricanes will maybe be a little bit frustrated to let the Force kind of come back into the game at the end and give them a little bit of a scare, but ultimately 31-23. It's a solid but not spectacular win in Napier. I do think Isaiah Walker-Leawere's card was pretty flippin' dumb. Stupid clean out. Even though they scored a Warner Dearns charge down try during that yellow card period, it also opened the door for the Force a little bit to come into the game. But the Force were also pretty good value, man. They were up 8 points to 0 in this game. They had an early lead. But, Shields, Flanders, Harkin, all second half tries. Roy Gard got one in the first half. So, like I said, it's probably a pretty expected win for the Hurricanes. There's nothing earth-shattering about this. I guess their bench is probably the best story of that game for the Canes, because the game was tight. The Hurricanes bench came on and kind of pulled it away from the Force lads. Darby Lancaster scored a couple for the Force. Dude is still a proper weapon. But, I think if you look at the fact that it's only an 8-point game, but the Canes had, 11 22 entries, and the Force had 6. You feel like the Canes left some points out there. But part of that is some good Force defense. Carlo Dezzano had a couple of turnovers. Devin Flanders was big on the carry. But ultimately, it is an expected win. Drua and Brumbies from Bar. 42 points to 27. It's 5 tries each. But the Brumbies did not really bring the kicking boots with 1 conversion. The Drua had 4, and the Drua kicked 3 penalties in this game as well. So it's a pretty big scoreline. I don't know that I thought it would be that big a result. I thought the Drua might win, because A, they're at home, and B, the Brumbies rotated their squad a bit. So if there was ever a situation where the Drua were going to get their first ever win over the Brumbies, this was it. But 42-27 is a pretty emphatic scoreline, really. And it started sunny, finished pretty wet. The Drua hands, despite the wet weather, were pretty slick. We saw some nice cross kicks, offloads, and whatnot from what mixed parts of it I was able to see during the bachelor party that I was at. There were a few guys there who don't really seem to watch much Super Rugby, but they were really impressed by the Drua, and as they should be, man. 25 defenders beaten to the Brumbies 16. They were busting some tackles. The one on Edmed from Wanga was a proper thing of beauty. I mean, the Brumbies' first try was also a proper cracker. Some sweet hands when it was still dry. Kick through, kick chase, really lovely stuff. But what I do like from the Drua in particular, tackle percentage was 91%, which has not been an area of strength for them. But they tackled the house down, along with all the sexy offloads and, kick chases and all that kind of stuff. Drua played kind of complete package rugby. So first ever win over the Brumbies. That is a cracking one, and certainly a much needed one. And despite the fact they had a couple of yellow cards in that game as well. Crusaders Highlanders was a battle of the Deep South, 29-18, but the Crusaders were made to work for it. They were behind at halftime. Will Jordan was back, which was very good. He got himself on the board early. He is still a weapon. But, they had 3 yellow cards in this game, the Crusaders. The Highlanders punished the first one with a try. The second one only a penalty. And then the third, they didn't get any points from it. So maybe you feel like if you're the Landers, you look at this game and go, geez, we've missed some chances. Like handling and line out not really going very well. Like they had the possession, they had the territory, they had the 22 entries, but the Crusaders just way more clinical in this one. Ta'avau's line break to set up a try was also very highlight worthy. But the Crusaders, Johnny Lee got a couple of tries on debut, cracking stuff from him. Second half is 17 points to 3. So the Crusaders, as I said, very, very clinical in the second half. The hit by Fihaki on Cam Miller is not pleasant viewing. That is a pretty hard watch, but yeah, there was some entertainment in this game. Tangitau, 3 line breaks from him. Will Jordan, 3 line breaks from him. There are some sexy attacker backs in both of these teams, but yeah, ultimately, Crusaders, much needed win, given that their campaign at that point was only 1 win. Gets them potentially back on track. Then the Reds and the Tars. I've got those scorelines around the wrong way. Let me switch that around. It's the Reds, apologies, who got the win over the Tars. Up in Queensland, 26 points to 17. This might be the game of the week for mine. And the Reds continue to win games with late tries. They did it last week with less time to go than they did against the Brumbies. But yeah, 2 late tries, 1 to put them a point ahead, and then 1 to kind of seal the deal at the death. Carter Gordon, a couple of tries from him. His return to rugby union is looking pretty slick. But it's a weird game because it starts with a try each in the first 20 minutes, and then no more scoring until relatively deep into the second half, like 50-odd minutes. So proper kind of arm wrestle match was what you expect when it's Queensland up against New South Wales. Henry's try from the Daugunu line break was a proper bit of magic. That one from the Reds was very sexy stuff. Gordon got his second, like I said, put the hammer down, showed a bit of gas. So yeah, lead changes. McCright tackling the house down. Daugunu busting tackles. Moana getting another one for the Tars. There was a lot to like about this game. Turnovers conceded for the Tars is probably a concerning one. 20. Too much coughed up ball. Whereas the Reds were, I guess, more clinical again by only having 12. So not quite half, but getting that way. So yeah, good win for the Reds. It's back-to-back results from them. Then the Blues and Moana Pasifika. That's a Sunday afternoon game. It blows out 43 points to 7. Sam Nock was back, but had to go off when he got really high-shotted by Augie Pulu, who got red-carded, and they had a yellow card towards the end of the game for another high shot. Moana, they won't be happy with those 2 tackles, but I mean, Tuangafasi, AJ Lamb, Renata, Dari, Vai, Tupaya, all these guys got tried for Blues. It was a pretty emphatic one. It's a real blowout. Lots of kids at that game. That's the good thing about having games in the afternoon, is it might not fit the broadcast schedule in terms of showing games in Europe, but you get more kids along to the game, which is really pleasing. Moana will not be happy with their errors. Blues still won't be happy with their line-out. That was a bit scratchy, but I mean, Dalton Papali'i leading the way. 25 tackles, they kicked and controlled the game well. So yeah, Battle of the 09 goes to the Blues. The Chiefs were on the bye. Chiefs are not in the top 3 anymore, but they have had the bye. Other teams will kind of even out as the bye weeks continue, but the Hurricanes are first, Blues are second, and the Brumbies are third. So my Blues doing all right this season, although we've still got some tough games to come. Chiefs, Reds, and Waratahs round out the other playoff spots. Just outside the playoffs, the Highlanders, the Crusaders, the Drua are into 9th, the Force 10th, and Moana Pasifika bringing up the rear in 11th. Next week's fixtures, Highlanders Hurricanes, will be a good test for where the Hurricanes are at, because Highlanders at home will be a difficult prospect, and the Highlanders need to get their campaign back on track because they're, as I said, outside of the playoffs at the moment. The Brumbies Chiefs, that looks like a playoff fixture, if you know what I mean. Both these sides, aspirations to be top of the log. So Chiefs away off the bye. Brumbies travelling back from Fiji after a loss. 2 losses in a row now for the Brumbies. Very, very tasty. That looks like, on paper, should be the game of the week. Then there's Drua's hosting the Reds. The Reds will get a test over in Fiji. Moana Pasifika hosting the Crusaders. I think that one's at Mount Smart. I'm still waiting to see Moana over on the shore. And then the Waratahs hosting the Blues. Waratahs have had a couple of losses now, need to get back to winning ways. And the Blues are seemingly flying high. Can they keep it up? You guys let us know your thoughts. What was the game of the round for you? Who are your kind of standout performers? It's been another good round of matches. But like I said, no losing bonus points and all home results is maybe a little bit more predictable this week than some of the others. But yeah, you guys take care. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.